Boss. And now the news in detail. Socialist Party President Fred members requested the High Court to grant him leave to issue a writ of habeas corpus. The writ would direct the Zambia Police Service to show cause why he should not be released immediately. This follows his prolonged detention at Ibex Police Station in Lusaka on a charge of seditious practices. This is in a matter between Fred Membe and the Attorney General under the rules of the Supreme Court of England 1965, Article 13 and 18 of the Constitution of Zambia Act, Chapter 1 of the Laws of Zambia, as amended by Act Number 18 of 1996 and Section 33 of the Criminal Procedure Code, Chapter 88 of the Laws of Zambia. Dr. Membe has asked the court to intervene in his prolonged detention without police bond and appearance in court on a bondable offense through an application for leave to issue a writ of habeas corpus. The opposition leader stated that on the 23rd day of July 2024, the Zambia Police Service headquarters issued a Zambia Police Service notice to the employer summoning him to appear at the Westwood Police Station on the 26th day of July 2024 at 10 hours for what was termed as an interview. Dr. Membe said he was out of the country at the time and informed the Zambia Police Service headquarters of his unavailability. He revealed that police acknowledged the receipt and rescheduled the interview to the 8th of August 2024 at 10 hours and changed the location to Twin Palm Police Station. He explained that when he reported at Twin Palm Police Station on the 8th of August 2024, he was arrested and detained at about 10:35 hours for the offense of seditious practices for which he believes he should have been given a police bond. Dr. Membe noted that despite fulfilling the condition for the bond, he has been refused the release. Gravely violates. He believes that his continued detention without being taken to court or before a court beyond the time stipulated by law gravely violates his fundamental rights and jeopardizes his health. The SP president feels that his detention is illegal, unlawful, and a contravention of his freedom as enshrined in the Constitution of the Republic of Zambia. Dr. Membe prayed that the court grant him leave to issue a writ of habeas corpus directing the respondents to show cause why he should not be released immediately. Massa Diocese Bishop Right Reverend Patrick Chirekwatsanga has called for the conservation and preservation of natural inhabitants as districts have been developed. Bishop Tsanga says government and other stakeholders must engage partners in development to ensure that indiscriminate destruction to natural inhabitants are avoided. He observed that the need to guard jealously the environment as construction activities take center stage. He said this during the elevation of St. Peter, the Apostle sub-parish, to a full status of a parish in Lunga district. His Royal Highness Chief Nsamba, Chief Kasomalunga, Area Member of Parliament Engineer Chandakatotobwe, and councillors from Luapula constituency wards attended the Mass. Bishop Tsanga emphasized that the onus is on chiefs, members of parliament, and other leaders to ensure that natural inhabitants are conserved. He specifically urged Engineer Katotobwe to lobby parliament so as to come up with policies to regulate on how certain places can be developed without disturbing the ecological system. Bishop Tsanga said the Lunga district is good for tourism sector, hence the need to protect natural inhabitants, saying the generations to come would laugh at the current leaders if they fail to preserve the natural inhabitants. In his homily, Bishop Tsanga also highlighted the history of the Catholic Church in Lunga, saying the missionaries from Santa Maria Parish in Chilubi visited Lunga some 104 years ago. He said God has already planned that Lunga would have its own parish from a sub-parish. He said the Christians used to rely on Twingi Parish and the Chilubi's Santa Maria Parish. Speaking earlier before the Mass, Engineer Katotobwe thanked Bishop Tsanga for elevating the sub-parish to a full parish status. He said this will not doubt help the people in drawing closer to God and help them to not to engage in negative vices. Bishop Tsanga has since installed Father Dominic Charwe as parish priest of St. Peter, the Apostle Parish. Police are making headway in the case involving the murder of the Independent Broadcasting Authority IBA Director General Guntila Muleya. Police spokesperson Ray Amonga says police will not disclose the other fugitive details as this may jeopardize investigations. Mr. Amonga says investigations on the matter are underway and disclosing the name of the fugitive will not be in the best interest at this stage. Mr. Monga was responding to calls for the fugitive alleged to be involved in the murder of Mr. Muleya to be disclosed and a bond placed on him. 4 people have been charged and arrested for murder in this case so far. The Zambia Association of Manufacturers, ZAM, has expressed concern at the recent decision by the Democratic Republic of Congo authorities to impose a 12-month ban on the importation of lime, beers, and soft drinks. ZAM President Ashu Saga says the ban poses challenges not only to regional trade but also to Zambia's manufacturing sector and broader economic stability. Mr. Saga says the DRC has long been a vital trading partner for Zambia, and the sudden cessation of imports will disrupt established supply chains, leading to potential revenue losses. He says the disruption poses a severe threat to jobs and livelihoods in the Zambian manufacturing sector, with ripple effects which will be felt throughout the economy. In a statement, Mr. Saga said that the ban raises critical questions on the adherence to trade protocols and bilateral agreements between Zambia and the DRC. He, however, said his association is happy that the Zambian government has engaged with the DRC authorities to address the underlying issues that led to the ban. The Zambia National Blood Transfusion Services plans to recruit over 250 voluntary blood donors by 2026. Health Minister Elijah Muchima says this is to attain the target of collection of 400,000 units annually. Dr. Muchima says blood is critical in the delivery of healthcare services and that there is an increase in demand for blood due to increased specialized needs. Speaking during the launch of the World Blood Donor Week last night, Dr. Muchima also praised volunteers who continue to donate blood. This year's theme is 20 years of celebrating giving. Thank you, blood donors. Some residents of the Mabumba have expressed worry at the failure to secure their livestock in the chiefdom. Speaking to KFM News yesterday, Mr. Keplin Waria says villages such as Langi, Kambone, Komanga, and Mabumba area are experiencing issues of property damage due to animals that are usually left roaming without control by their owners. Mr. Waria says despite the chief clearly stating the need for keeping livestock enclosed, subjects have not respected the order from the traditional leader on animal management. Meanwhile, Sefa Sifilabi has bemoaned the increased Kachasu trade in the area. He says headmen are going behind the back of the chief and charge a fee to brewers of Kachasu and urge them to be careful and not be caught by the chief's messengers. Mr. Fibale says such actions by the village headmen are ruining the peace and health of our residents in the chiefdom. The Action Institute for Policy Analysis Center is concerned about Vendetta Resources' ability to effectively manage Konkola Copper Mines KCM following disturbing developments related to the company's financial management. Organization Executive Director Solomon Ngoma says in July, Vendetta Resources announced a $245 million plan to settle debts owed to suppliers and contractors. However, only 4 entities have received payments, leaving over 646 contractors and suppliers still waiting. Mr. Ngoma says it is unacceptable that the company also failed to meet its promised payment deadline of August 1, 2024. It says the repercussions of these delays have been severe for suppliers who are struggling to pay their workers, with some employees remaining unpaid for over 6 months, thereby worsening poverty among the affected families. Mr. Ngoma has also criticized Vendetta for not fulfilling its $1 billion commitment to recapitalize KCM and is now calling on government to seek another equity partner to operate KCM. Efforts to get a comment from Vendetta Resources Limited failed by broadcast time. Before we take a look on the international news, a recap on local news headlines. Fred Membe requests the High Court to grant him leave to issue a writ of habeas corpus. Bishop Patrick Sanga calls for the conservation and preservation of natural inhabitants. And police making headway in the case involving the murder IBA Director General Guntila Muleya. Coming up next, Putin vows to kick the enemy out as Ukraine pushes into Russian territory. And Atletico Madrid sign Alvarez for £81 million from Man City.
If it matters to you, it matters to us.
Russian President Vladimir Putin vows to kick the enemy out of their territory as Ukraine pushes on with its surprise offensive inside the country. Some 121,000 people have evacuated from Russia's western Kursk region, officials say, with another 59,000 told to leave. Ukrainian forces have advanced up to 30 kilometers inside Russia, the deepest incursion since Moscow's full-scale invasion of Ukraine. Belgorod, which neighbors the Kursk region, is also evacuating residents, and the regional government has issued a missile alert telling people to shelter in their basements. Tanzania police have arrested prominent politician Tundu Lissu and two other opposition Chadema officials, the party has said. It says the three were detained on Sunday in the southwestern town of Mbeya on the eve of their planned rally to mark the World Youth Day. The reported arrest come a year after President Samia Hassan lifted a ban on opposition gatherings and promised to restore competitive politics. On Sunday, the police banned the Chadema rally, saying it was intended to cause violence. They cited the party's rallying call for people to come together like the youth in Kenya, apparently referring to the weeks of deadly anti-government demonstrations in the neighboring East African country. On Monday morning, a Chadema official told the BBC that they did not know where the detained leaders were being held. The police have not officially spoken about the arrest. And now in sports, Atletico Madrid have completed the £81.5 million signing of Manchester City striker Julian Alvarez on a 6-year deal. Diego Simeone's Spanish side will pay an initial £64.4 million with a further £17.1 million in potential add-ons for the Argentine striker. The 24-year-old's departure is a record sale for City, eclipsing the £50 million they received from Chelsea for Raheem Sterling in 2022. They paid Argentine side River Plate £14.1 million for Alvarez in January 2022. Alvarez said City, where he won 6 major trophies during his 2-year stay, will always have a special place in his heart. And now President Hakainde Hichilema has pledged to sponsor 2024 Olympics bronze medalist Mzala Samkonga to the United States of America to advance his athletics career. The head of state says technical experts in the USA have been engaged to help train the 400 meters runner. Sports Minister Elvis Nkandwa has disclosed this on behalf of the president at a press briefing held in Lusaka today, saying the sponsorship will come from President Hichilema's personal resources. Kandu said the President Hichilema gesture has been done to ensure that Samkonga has the right training and foundation that will help him excel on the athletics global stage. And Nkandu said the president will meet all athletes that represented the country at the just ended 2024 Paris Olympic Games once they are back in the country to show appreciation for their good sportsmanship. The minister, who also highlighted the various developments that the UPND government has scored in youth, sports and arts since coming into power in 2021, said the current administration is determined to promote equity in sports. To end the news, a recap on the top stories. Fred Membe requests the High Court to grant him leave to issue a writ of habeas corpus. Bishop Patrick Chirkwach-Sanga calls for the conservation and preservation of natural inhabitants. Police making headway in the case involving the murder of IBA Director General Guntila Muleya. Putin vows to kick the enemy out as Ukraine pushes into Russian territory. And in sports, Atletico Madrid sign Alvarez for £81 million from Man City. We now come to the end of this news bulletin. We still have the news summary coming up at 20 hours. On behalf of the news crew of the day, I'm Jack Mapembulo. Keep listening to K.
76566.